Now, that didn't have to mean at pick 13. It could have been later in the draft. Could have been they pick at 13 and trade back into the first round, trade back from 13. I certainly didn't expect it to happen at 13th overall, but there was buzz starting to build throughout the day that this could happen. I was still floored when this selection was made. Ty Simpson going to the Los Angeles Rams. And there is so much to get to from this selection. This is like an onion, peeling it back, layer by layer. And like an onion, some of these layers may make you cry, especially if your name is Sean McVay. So let's take you through the timeline of events that unfold as it concerns this pick of Ty Simpson. And I'm going to get to why this absolutely impacts who can win the Super Bowl this year in the National Football League. So the pick is made. Ty Simpson's going to the Rams. And my initial thought is, wow, there are going to be a lot of people in the media that are going to be backpedaling like Darrelle Revis now. Because not like all the people that said Ty Simpson sucks, and I don't know that he's going to be good. I have no idea. But all the people that said he sucks now have to reckon that opinion with the fact that Sean McVay drafted him. And Sean McVay is the golden boy, right? Sean McVay is the wonderkind. Sean McVay is one of the most respected coaches in the NFL. And when Sean McVay says, I want to put my hands on this quarterback, and I can mold this quarterback, I think you want to give Sean McVay the benefit of the doubt. So I'm having a good laugh to myself thinking, wow, all these people are going to have to say they were wrong. All the Ty Simpson truthers get to say they were right because it's the Rams that took Ty Simpson, not like the Arizona Cardinals, not the New York Jets. No, Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams. Jay Glazer of Fox Sports tweeting, like moments before the pick was made on TV at least. And by the way, can we somehow get it in the year of our Lord 2026, where the television coverage of the draft isn't like 20 minutes behind social media? Where I have friends texting me when like the Commanders are about to pick Sonny Styles at 7th overall on TV, being like, what do you think the Giants are going to do? Well, I'm like, well, they drafted Francis Maui Noah. Because I know that because I'm on social media. Hey, can we fix this problem, please? So Jay Glazer puts out there that earlier in the day, Sean McVay called Matthew Stafford to, as if like this call needed to be made, but of course you're going to make the call, right? That he called Matthew Stafford to assure Stafford that it's still his team until Matthew Stafford decides to step away. And you get that piece of news from Jay Glazer, who is as dialed in as it gets, obviously, right? And you think, wow, this is one big happy family. McVay loves Ty Simpson. And this is the succession plan. And we can argue whether or not we think it should be or not. Like, was this the right pick for the Rams, who are trying to win a Super Bowl this year? But at least in that moment, I believed, and I'm guessing you did as well, that this was a united front. That this was an organizational decision made by the Rams to get ahead of it with Matthew Stafford. And remember, back in August of last year, there were not like made-up concerns. Legitimate concerns about Matthew Stafford's back last year. We do this rigmarole, we do this dance with Matthew Stafford every offseason now. Will he stay? Will he go? Cue the clash. What's going to happen here? So you at least understood, right? You understand the rationale behind the pick. Even if you disagree with it, you get it to a degree. And the Rams, with Snead and McVay, I think have proven themselves to be an exceptionally competent group of people running an NFL team that you would give them the benefit of the doubt in a situation like this. And then the press conference happened. And then Les Snead, smiling like the Cheshire Cat, is sitting next to Sean McVay at this press conference. And Sean McVay looks like a sibling who just watched his brother or sister get the gift that he wanted for Christmas and he didn't get it. He's got that sour puss on his face. He's looking pissed off. He's looking unhappy. And McVay is asked, obviously, about the Ty Simpson pick. And I thought it was interesting the way Sean McVay started his answer. Take a listen to McVay's comments after the Ty Simpson selection.
Let's make one thing clear. This is Matthew's team. And you get a chance to be able to address, the backup quarterback. We've got Stetson. We've talked about the importance of Jimmy. So to be able to add somebody that you can evaluate a body of work where he was asked to play the position and a lot of things that do translate in terms of concepts, reading with his feet, some of the different things in the drop back in the play action game.
Let's get one thing perfectly clear as it concerns Sean McVay. One thing perfectly clear as it concerns Sean McVay. He is someone, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I'll be honest, right? And this is not to say like Sean McVay and me that we're the same people. But I'm sure, maybe you're like this or people in your life are like this. Sean McVay is someone who wears his heart on his sleeve. And he is someone who has done, and he has said it. So this is not me making this up. He has said it. He does a poor job hiding his frustration. Go back to the end of the Jared Goff tenure in Los Angeles, when McVay is basically livid with him on the sideline for however he benched him for John Wolford. His disdain for Jared Goff is painted all over his face. And he has said, this isn't me making this up, he has said that he regrets the way that he handled that. And then obviously trading Goff to the Lions and acquiring Matthew Stafford and how all of that went down. I'm like this also. Ask members of my crew. I can do this. Ask my wife. Ask my family. They'll tell you that I wear my frustrations. When I'm frustrated, I do a really poor job hiding it. Sean McVay does a really poor job hiding it. Maybe you do a really poor job hiding it. And if it's not you, I'm guessing someone does a really poor job hiding it. You can't see on audio, right? The clip that we played. You can't see what he looked like. He looked like, I say this sometimes, like he ordered like a French onion soup. The waiter brings it to him. There's a fly sitting on top of the cheese. He looked unhappy. He gets asked about Ty Simpson. The first thing he says is, you get a chance to address the backup quarterback. And then mentions Stetson Bennett. What? And Jimmy Garoppolo, who's probably going to retire. So I ask you this, right, without being inside his head and guaranteeing this. Let's say you are someone who is excitable by nature. You're Sean McVay. You're you. You're someone you know. Excitable by nature. Wears heart on the sleeve. Gets excited, and conversely, wears frustration and shows frustration. If you just picked a quarterback that you're like, holy bleep, I love this guy. Now, obviously, like Stafford's the guy. It's not that he's going to beat out Stafford, but man, this is someone I'm excited to coach. Don't you think the prevailing emotion would be joyous and not, well, we addressed backup quarterback and, we have Stetson Bennett and Jimmy's really important. What? You would think the answer would be, man, like Matthew's the quarterback as long as he wants to be the quarterback, but we are so excited for Ty, like once Matthew hangs them up. And we love Ty at Alabama, and I can't wait to work with him, and I think this is going to be great for him to sit for a couple years and learn from Matthew Stafford. That's not what he said. He said Stetson Bennett and Jimmy Garoppolo, and then later in the press conference said that he's going to compete with Stetson for the backup quarterback job. And again, sour puss on his face. Does that seem like a coach that's excited? Knowing his personality profile, does that seem like someone that's pumped for this pick? Now, I talked to some people in the league. I'm not reporting anything. These people can be wrong. It's all speculation. Like, there's a difference between, hey, like, I have information on what a team's going to do, as opposed to I know what's going on in someone's head. So this is speculation, to be clear. But, I think it's like we all do this with people in our life. Like what makes people tick? What do you think they're thinking in these moments? People think Les Snead made this pick. The Rams GM made the pick. And if you watch this press conference, it certainly feels like that's the case. Les Snead super excited for it. Les Snead apparently, none of this is coincidental, reports throughout the day, yesterday, that Les Snead spoke to Ty Simpson and his family and told them that Ty's a first-round talent. And then he picks him in the first round. Again, these reports, none of this is coincidental. Now, to be clear, I don't think, even if everything I've said is true, it doesn't mean that Sean McVay thinks Ty Simpson sucks. I am sure that Sean McVay likes Ty Simpson as a prospect. Like, they wouldn't have made the pick if, like, McVay thinks he's terrible, right? I'm sure McVay sees Simpson as like a ball of clay that he can mold into something pretty special in a couple of years. I have no doubt that Sean McVay likes Ty Simpson as a prospect. So don't mishear me here. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not saying that McVay thinks Ty Simpson sucks, but what I am saying is I don't think Sean McVay wanted to draft Ty Simpson. And you can see it from both perspectives, right? You can see the Rams on one side, and Les Snead, the GM, and the Rams organization on one side that says Matthew Stafford is going to be our quarterback for 2026. Who knows for how much longer? Do we want to be up against it when Stafford retires and have to get somebody, or do we want to take this opportunity with the pick that I can't believe we have thanks to the Atlanta Falcons at 13, and like we already said, F them picks with 29, trading it for Trent McDuffie, and address the quarterback position? So that if Stafford retires after this year, you have your succession plan. You don't have to worry about it. You get it, right? Whether you like Ty Simpson or not, you understand the thought process, right? You can also then understand the thought process of Sean McVay. And in order, I believe, to fully understand what I think the thought process is of Sean McVay, while again acknowledging I'm not in his head, but just like consider the facts of what we have, right? Let's think about the last two seasons for the Los Angeles Rams, and specifically how these seasons ended. 2 seasons ago, in a snowstorm in Philadelphia, the Rams came very close to upsetting the Philadelphia Eagles. Very close. If not for a crazy, awesome play by Jalen Carter on 4th in the season, who knows if the Rams win that game? And if the Rams win that game, do the Rams win the Super Bowl? Would have been interesting, right? The Eagles, of course, go on to win it. And then, earlier this calendar year, the Rams go on the road to Seattle in the NFC Championship game and fall just short of beating the Seahawks, who then went to the Super Bowl and destroyed Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots. You don't think the Rams would have beaten the tar out of the Patriots in Super Bowl 60 if they had gotten there? So these now, in back-to-back years, are 2 near misses for the Rams, where you can successfully argue that they should probably have one more Super Bowl. At least one. Should have won one of the last 2 years. Or at least could have easily won one of these Super Bowls in the last 2 years. And had to go on the road to Philly in the snow, and had to go on the road to Seattle because they fell just short in the regular season. And when you put that into perspective, now you understand why Sean McVay, even if he likes Simpson, wouldn't be happy with this pick. Because Ty Simpson could go on to be a first ballot Hall of Fame player. It could happen. He could also be I have no idea. But let's just take this and say the extreme outcome to the positive. First ballot gold jacket quarterback. He helps them 0.0% win a championship this year. And it's all about now for the Los Angeles Rams. Because this could be Matthew Stafford's last season. Does Stafford throw a curveball and play until he's 42? I don't know. Feels like Stafford, like this, every year we're going to say this, that he comes back, and maybe he comes back next year, that this is going to be his last year. The Rams clearly think that it's a possibility considering they drafted Ty Simpson, right? So now let's consider Sean McVay and tell me if anything I'm about to say is false. Sean McVay is considered to be one of the best coaches in the NFL. Sean McVay is considered to be not only one of the brightest minds today in the National Football League, but in the history of the National Football League. And Sean McVay is a transformative figure for an organization that teams around the end, not every team, but a lot of teams, would be falling and tripping all over themselves to fire their coach to hire him. True or false? So if you're Sean McVay and you think you have a chance to win the Super Bowl this season, and the team drafted the quarterback of the future, and you didn't want that to be the case, and that's certainly what it seems like. And I've laid out the facts for you, and you can kind of do the arithmetic in your head. If all of that's true, when Matthew Stafford retires, maybe that's after this year, maybe it's after a Super Bowl, maybe it's after another excruciating loss in the NFC playoffs, who knows how it's going to go. Does Sean McVay say to himself, why am I here? I'm Sean McVay. There are organizations that would love to hand me the keys to the car. To use the Bill Parcells analogy, not just cook the meal, but also shop for the groceries. My best guess today, and I can be wrong. I've been wrong many times in the past. I will be wrong many times in the future. I've also been right in the past, and I'll be right in the future. I'm guessing. My guess is when Matthew Stafford's done in Los Angeles, Sean McVay will also be done in Los Angeles with the Rams. The Seattle Seahawks have gotten better this offseason, or got better last night with the pick of Jadarian Price. I like that pick at the end of the first round. Lost some players, obviously, but got better last night. Last night, I should say, was Seattle as opposed to the offseason. The San Francisco 49ers have gotten better this offseason. The LA Rams watched their best wide receiver go to rehab. And I don't mean that to be cold. It's a statement of fact. Even if he's participating in offseason workouts, Devontae Adams is getting older.